All right, everybody, here we go. Let's Talk UVS posted a video of the top 12 characters for standard going into nationals. Don't know if this is a meme or what, but it is 12 days of UniVersus. So I figured I'd take a look and watch it, and we kind of react to it together. So let's go ahead and get started. Thanks for David Toombs for putting this out. You are doing the work when we are also not doing it. So cool, man. Let's enjoy this.
Merry Christmas, UniVersus gamers. I hope you have Attack on Titan booster displays under your Christmas tree, Chrome Rares in your stockings. Today I'm going to do a 12 Days of Christmas kind of knockoff here. We're going to switch it up and do top 12 characters in UniVersus. In January, we're going to have all of our nationals, and these 12 characters, these are the ones that you need to be testing as or testing against. You must be prepared for them if you want to compete and do well at those nationals tournaments.
So I've been doing a nationals deck series. Like I mean, not it's kind of in the same vein, right? Like the top 12, top 20 characters or whatever. So, but yeah, like you probably could easily say like there's like this upper crust of like maybe 4 or 5 characters that are the boogeymen or women, depending on gender or whatever. But like there's this whole like I've come up with over 20 decks for this national season, and I'm not sure like if you can really conduce it or condense it down to 12 just because of once you get like Swiss is Swiss or whatever, but like once you get into top cuts, it's all about your matchup. It's all about kind of getting lucky. So let's continue and see how this is going.
Let's kick us off on the first day of Christmas. Well, I guess we're going opposite. So
We
we're going
count
to start
up,
from the
David.
top,
We count down, I
from
should say,
the
David. We
bottom to
count
the
down.
top. So
Yes, we
on
count
the
down.
12th, I guess we just won't follow the song. Okay, coming in at number 12.
Nice.
Get rid of the Christmas analogy. Uh,
I like it how he can make fun of himself because I think that's a sign of a good content creator that you can take your snafus in stride and just roll with it. So yeah, good on you, David. Good on you for not editing this out in post. Appreciate it.
Izuku Midoriya on
All right.
the
Okay.
latest Midoriya.
I think
This
I have to
is,
write notes here.
I think, going to be a more represented at nationals than expected, simply because Deku is so popular. This is the last My Hero product to be made in UniVersus, at least for the foreseeable future, from what we've.
Yeah, there you go. Like, because he said that it's the last UVS, like, yeah, last UniVersus property product, but we don't know that for sure. But like he said, he doesn't know for sure. But most likely, it's kind of looking because of all of 2025. We already have the product roadmap. But yeah, like, he is right though, right? Like he's right. Deku is probably going to be one of the more represented characters. One because he has access. Like if you play air, you could play walk the dogs. If you play water, you can play Krakens. Krakens are way more available than Walk the Dogs currently, and even a price tag, right? Um, like he can go life and play Myths of Despair. I think it's just like he's going to be the most represented, just not only because he's good, is because he's also kind of a budget build that's competitive, right? Like your good version has Phantom threats and like decent rares that you can get for a cheap price. So I wondered if he mentions that.
For the 2025 roadmap. This character jumps out to me as very good. There's tons of different ways to play him. You can play
Mm-hmm.
like I've been playing this water list that kind of just leans into the defense of
Yeah.
transforming and taking an attack to 0 and drawing a card. It's like I get to play this very defensive water 7-hander. I can stack things on freezer burn when I want to, and stack all the
That's
3
cool.
threes and then
That's cool.
cancel everything with freezer burn.
That's
You can
very
play like
cool.
Fajin Flurry on life. I did a deck profile on that before I stopped making videos here a couple months ago. There's a lot of different ways to protect Fajin Flurry. You get to snap off like 6 or 7 momentum.
Yep.
You can play like a Void one punch deck. There's tons of different ways to play this character. You can go like the Vestige route. I'm not sure he's super well positioned in the meta right now. We have Godzilla being very popular, who just obliterates your stage, and then you have to start over, and he's
Mm-hmm.
kind of very dependent on his stage for his stats here. Uh, the response is not enough to stop Bertolt, upon his transformation from just killing you, he's still going to get the benefit of the draw. He's still going to get to remove his attack. So I'm not sure he's well positioned in the meta right now, but he's popular. I think he's very good. We've seen this character played quite a bit.
About his position in the meta, like I think he's right. Because well, Godzilla, Bert one and Bert two both kind of just crush him in a way. Anyone that can mess with the stage, like stage count, Godzilla for a fact, right? Like just Godzilla is going to be. I think Godzilla is going to be the most represented character at nationals. I don't even think it's even going to be like a question. Just because again, access. He doesn't need walk the dog to kill people. Like he puts 3 damage on all these 6 to 9 damage moves. Like I think the only issue is determined advance with the Godzilla deck, but you still can play other things. But yeah, I think he's right on point there, so that's pretty good. That's a good point. Does he have chapters, or do I have to watch the entire thing? Well, I guess I could scroll. Yeah, but whatever. We'll just watch it.
In major events, but we haven't seen results come. I wouldn't surprise me if somebody puts up results at
It is
nationals.
a 36-minute video,
Okay,
so we'll be here for a
number
while.
11.
11. Here we
We
go.
have King Ghidorah.
King G,
King
baby.
Ghidorah, in my last couple tier lists that I did, he was more like top 3, top 5.
Yeah,
So him being at number 11 is actually a pretty
it's a
decent
downgrade.
slide.
Yeah.
I don't think he's well positioned at the moment. I think King Ghidorah is a pretty slow and steady type character that can really crack back.
Yeah, meta's too fast currently for him, I think.
But I think that in this meta right now, you really want to be able to output massive damage early. We have a lot of kind of like damage sponge characters at the moment that are very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best ways to defeat Bertolt's living warrior or living weapon.
Living weapon, David.
Then everybody
Living weapon.
in the comments.
Living weapon.
Let's just call him LW.
There we go.
Bertolt 2.
That's even better.
I don't think the 3 heads is enough to stop Bertolt 2.
Yeah.
I don't think we have the damage output that we have early. Now listen, still selectively playing from your discard is a broken ability. Having 3 heads and this damage sponge character is very, very broken.
He's right though on that point that having the damage sponge for the heads means you're gonna have to come up with 30 damage no matter what, because your carryover damage doesn't carry over. Once he hits 10, he gets a new head, right? Like, it's just, he still gets the benefit off of Void of playing Barrier Shield. He still gets Breaker Blocks, which kind of help you. I think he's kind of like Bert 1 in a way. Like, not like the same thing, but different. Same thing, but different. Like, they're a turn too slow for the current meta. Ghidorah can get there, I think, a little easier just because he has I can only take 10. I can only take 10 ahead, so you have to do at least guaranteed 30. He still has the minus speeds and the minus damage foundations. Like I said, he still gets barrier shield. If he wants to, I don't think he wants to play Death. I think he's a void or an evil character. Like I don't think Death after risky encounter got banned. I think that this guy, that's why he slid down some. Also, he's a little tougher to play. He's not as easy to play as like a Godzilla or a Toga or a Bert 2. He does take some practice. So yeah, I think David's right here. So yep.
We still get true 100% Unleashed,
Yeah.
which can just block a determined advance. Very common attack in the meta. Can just block like a Fajin Flurry. We were just talking about Midoriya. An Armor of the Wolf from an Amajiki. So
Yeah.
King Ghidorah is still very, very good. It's hard for me to leave him out of the top 12, but I don't think he's as well positioned now as he was in the past. We did lose Risky Encounter with the ban list. I don't think he
Just said
got a lot of support.
No.
You got like that 3-diff Void Foundation that
Oh, he gets to play the first enhance.
skips and attacks enhanced step.
Yeah.
The,
Or
lower
yeah.
decks. Challenger series, we got like Greater Goal, I guess, on the death symbol. You can.
He did get the action cancel, the void action cancel that cancels blitzes. He got that too. So there is a shot that he could just still be like the control deck. It's just with us not having any events outside of the few webcam events that are happening thanks to the community, we don't really get to see like a full meta going into nationals other than our locals.
Ripper arrives with like tri-gravity beam for this hand ripping strategy. So I don't know. He got some stuff, but not as much as other characters. I'm probably going on too long at this point. Top 10.
Into the 10.
First character in my top 10. And this is another character that slid a little bit. Toga 3
Oh,
was in my top 5.
I'm hurt, David. I feel like this is an attack towards me precisely. But yeah, I don't know. Like, she's still very good. She's probably not in top 5. He's right there. She's probably a top 10 character for sure, for sure. So let's listen to what he says and then we'll react.
Uh, One of the big things about Toga 3 is that Chaos, Death, and Life have all been supported in Attack on Titan. And Attack on Titan has been very heavy on weapon support.
Correct.
Which means that Toga 3's gotten a lot of cool new toys. So it's hard for me to say that she's not top 10. The problem is that I feel like the other characters in this top 12 that I'm doing here, they're all more broken and unfair than Toga. Toga still feels more
She's
fair
very fair.
than
Yes,
them. I do
correct.
think that if you want to play a stun character, you should probably go Toga and not Paul.
Yeah.
And even though Attack on Titan hasn't given us like attacks that do things in your momentum, there's enough support already.
Yeah.
Deception Dagger,
Yep.
Piercing Needle.
I wouldn't even play that in her.
What's the other big ones?
She has blood evaluation, which I don't play. Black Abyss is the biggest one, David. Yes, the
Yeah,
Black
we
Abyss.
still have enough support of attacks that are very, very solid, and
Yeah.
then you can just pair it with these weapon things that came out in Attack on Titan. I still think Toga 3 deserves a spot here. This is going to be a pretty popular character.
Correct.
Like if we're thinking
Yeah.
about, which of these characters are actually going to see representation at Nats, you're always going to have 4 to 5 Toga players, bare minimum. Wouldn't shock me if Toga
Yeah.
made up, 3 to 5%
Yeah.
of the meta.
Yeah, definitely. I
I
agree.
would say Midoriya's probably going to go down in representation a little bit. And again, Midoriya I think will have a surprisingly high percentage.
I agree with all that so far.
Simply for being popular.
Before we go into 9, some thoughts about Toga. Like, she didn't get any worse, but she also, in a way, didn't get any better. A lot of the really busted chaos stuff is like determined advance. Like, that's a huge chaos piece. Like, if you stick with, like me, I stick primarily with weapons, so I don't play Kraken. But she did get dual the Ackermans, which is a huge piece. If you can slot it in, it's very hard to slot another 5 diff in. There are Toga Rampage decks that just play straight 5s or higher and just slams it, right? And just plays, City Rampage Toga, which is crazy to think about. Deception Dagger is still one of the best pieces in the game to get rid of combined firepower and other ways and other things that when they tutor crap out of the discard pile. It's still probably that. And she also gets Sins of the Past, which is another huge piece. She can play a Ward the Victor and then stack an attack and then draw it with Horrifying Realization. Chaos has this really cool suite now of, well, if I touch you, I'm going to stack my attack with Ward the Victor, and then either use Horrifying Realization or long range support to cycle through my deck to draw more cards. It's very, very cool. But yeah, like I agree with them. Like the way I'm doing mine, I'm shitting out lists as I'm just thinking of them or I'm ripping them off the internet, from UVS players, from other community members, which I'll shout out in my videos because I don't have enough time to think of all of that. So, but yeah, like she also gets solo leveling pieces, so we have to see what solo leveling brings her too, which is really cool. So let's move on to 9.
Okay, coming in at number 9, I have a new.
Yeah, I got him on my list too.
Riner Braun Warrior, or Riner 2, whichever you'd like to call him. He's also this damage sponge character. He's kind of like King Ghidorah. He's kind of like Endeavor 3. And Endeavor 3 is still our current reigning world champion character, although I think characters like Ymir and Riner Braun are just versions
I don't think we'll
of
see.
Endeavor 3. This guy.
We'll see very little representation of Endeavor 3 because of what he said. Reiner Braun is just better Endeavor 3.
Like crazy. You're getting damage for each different card type that you mill. Once you mill once, you're getting damage and speed.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy. He's very good.
+2/+2, +3/+3, +4/+4 sometimes.
Yep.
On your attacks. This guy loves Freezer Burn, and Freezer Burn is probably my favorite attack in the game. Probably the most underrated attack in the
Yeah, I
game,
could
since
see that.
being able to cancel everything.
I mean, as of right now, no one's playing Freezer Burn probably but David, to be honest. Like, I haven't seen Freezer Burn locally since Jet Burn meta, I assume. I know we have a guy who plays Shoto 4 a lot, and if he plays him off of water, right? He has water, right? He's fire, death, and water. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like he plays him off of fire or water, I think. Yeah, and he plays Freezer Burn pretty well. And if you can stack stats on Freezer Burn, it's a beating because you can't really do much about it.
Love canceling a last second rescue from Recovery Girl. When you transform, you're picking up your momentum into your hand. You can make yourself transform with like defeating the Colossus Titan to lose that health that you needed. He plays quick. What is it? Quick to act. The zero
Oh
difficulty
yeah.
foundation on fire that says
Yep.
when you're at less than half health,
Yep.
everything's getting a speed. He plays that really well since he's only 17 health. It's not that hard to find yourself at like 8 or 7 health.
Yeah.
So he
Very
plays
quick.
that pretty well. Yeah, you're grabbing your momentum back to your hand. I do wish that his enhance on his front side said
Hey, buddy.
speed,
What's up?
and then you unlock the damage after you mill. That way you can kind of like increase your momentum.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you do have to overcome like how am I going to get momentum
Yeah.
for when I transform. And you have to overcome that you are typically playing a lower foundation ratio than normal. Uh,
Also, like when he flips and you start removing cards from your discard pile, like you start getting tons of. All right, Ace. Hey, buddy. Stop horfing. You're good. Yeah, my dog is, interjecting himself in the video. Um, like, uh, you get base +3 if you have an asset in play, right? You have a different card type in your stage, so you're probably playing assets. I don't think you're playing backups, so you're getting like +3 +3. The +4 +4 dream is a thing if you want to play backups. So because your character does count as one.
make his enhances as good as they could possibly be. When he transforms, everything's getting -5 damage. Yeah, this guy's
Not everything. Your first attack, David. So, yeah, like your rival has to have more than 3 attacks in hand to kill him because he's going to damage negate the first one, probably block one or two, and or like do something to delete it, and then yeah, you're gonna have to basically play at least 3 to 5 attacks a turn after he flips to kill him because he's just gonna say -5 on your first one.
a 50 health character that
Unless you've played Determined Advance first. Determined Advance solves all your problems, everybody.
very soon is adding +2 +2 +3 +3 to all their moves. And he gets to add attacks back to his hand. It's very, very difficult for this guy to be bad. Coming in at
Number
number
8.
8, Recovery Girl.
Recovery
Speaking of
Girl.
last second rescue, as soon as that card got revealed, everybody immediately thought of Recovery Girl. That, oh
Correct.
my gosh, you can just destroy it, heal back, grab it, build it again, destroy
Yep.
it,
As
heal
long
it
as you have the
back.
momentum, you can just
Um,
keep cycling that
it
thing.
As long as you have momentum and the damage of the attack is not lethal,
Yeah.
you can just always go right back to normal with last second rescue. Recovery Girl's still been very good.
Yep.
If you have a referee jury in hand, you can just build in your struggling with studies to keep adding your jury back to your hand.
That's if you're on water, yeah. Yeah.
Building in So Manly to stuff your
Water
cards
probably
full.
is our probably best symbol, to be honest.
Destroying 2 foundations to gain throw. There's a certain like inevitability with Recovery Girl,
Correct.
and Recovery Girl just wipes the floor with all these string characters. These string characters that aren't capable of outputting massive damage on
The caveat is massive damage. We had an LQ in Wisconsin, and I played Ymir into the local Recovery Girl. Yeah. Uh, I 2-0'd them, I believe. It just ended up being that I was able, like, I killed them on base damage because they just kept. I got rid of all their momentum eventually, and then they couldn't get momentum. Game 1 was a little tougher than game 2 because I sighted in my throw hate game 2, so they couldn't get momentum. But I was able to get rid of their momentum, so they couldn't use last second rescue. And then also I was just able to just eventually I was able to chip them down with giant moves, and then they started cycling in um, always cools from their discard pile. They kept like just building them, using them, building them, using them. So I just played like 10 attacks and just killed them 5 apiece. Eventually they don't have cards in hand to block, and they can't. And doing 5 over and over and over and over and over again, she can only take that 6 times until she dies.
Attacks, they just cannot punch through a recovery girl, and recovery girl eventually takes you down. You need to have a way to be able to say, here's my 32 damage attack, and I'll negate your interaction on it. Coming in at number
Speak of
7,
the devil,
Ymir.
Ymir.
Speaking of better Endeavor 3, like Riner Braun Warrior, Ymir, once she transforms, everything's getting 2 speed.
She is
Damage
fantastic.
plus 5, plus 10, plus 15 damage. Ymir
Yep.
is kind of a glass cannon, though, so we haven't seen.
I would don't think so, David. I think that Ymir actually isn't a glass cannon. I think people who play her like a glass cannon think that, but like she has defense on her face. She plays the life symbol, which has some of the best defense in the game. I also think life is better than fire, so poo poo on you guys who think opposite. I think that she is a top 5 character. He has her at 7. So I'm interested to see what his top 5 is. It's just because I'm also biased. She's my favorite character from Attack on Titan, the set, because Annie sucks. And yeah, like she's just great. Like I win or lose, this character is a blast to play. And when you flip, people are afraid. Like they are deathly afraid of you. Like you could, yeah. I've dropped people from full pretty easily with this character.
Results with Ymir quite yet. Um, how to make her work on offense is pretty clear. You have Briefer Sprite, Immortal Shapeshifter, all
You got
sorts of
best
ways
buds
to
from Star
gain
Trek.
health. Now Ymir did get defeating the Colossus Titan, which is a huge get for Ymir. It means that you can play a very scary move as your first attack.
13 high base, everybody. If you have 5, as long as you have 6 health, 13 high for 6 damage. And that's not even that's yeah, like playing that as your first move. Sure, if you want to soften them up, but like they're just gonna take they're just gonna take it. Like we need something better. We need something to draw out blocks and soften defense. But yeah, it is an option. Like I think like Tetra Terror would be a better opening, but that's just me.
And that's a big thing because Ymir is building up, right? So typically, if you're trying to just survive that extra turn you need to win against Ymir, hey, I'll take the early attacks, I'll block the later attacks once you're adding massive damage on them.
Hey, stop giving away my
Defeating
tech.
Colossus Titan, you say, hey, catch, it's an 11 damage move. I'm going to make this thing also super, super fast. It's also going to be
Yeah, if you're at under half health, it becomes 10 damage. Yes,
just the
it's
6 and then
13
the
high for
bonus
10.
2 is at least 8, and I think you can get it higher. It also has powerful on it, so you can
Correct.
make this, and it loses you health, which means that you have more room to gain that health back. It's doing everything that
Correct.
Ymir wants. I think
Yep.
it was a very, very big grab for Ymir. Also, Briefer Sprite coming in from Attack on Titan 2. But Ymir is just a glass cannon. The front side is not very good. Like, right, if we don't consider
I
the
mean,
job
building a
title
free
set,
foundation's
health
okay,
plus
David.
2 damage,
It's okay.
form, build one. Those are fine, but much, much worse than other characters. Once you transform,
Oh, she's
the
busted.
Jaw Titan is almost begging you to overextend. Because your damage gets bigger as you go on in your turn, it's tempting to overextend when after 2 or 3 attacks, you might realize, wait a second,
Yeah.
I don't have it this turn, I need to pull back. But your character is like begging you to keep going.
Yeah.
And then that -3 speed is not going to be enough to save you.
That's why we play defense in the deck, David.
Ymir
That's why we
at, I
play
think, what is
defense.
this, number 7?
Number 7.
Number
6.
6, top half of our top 12. I've got Amajiki.
Ooh, I don't have him in my top
Amajiki
20.
is, again, he's kind of one of these damage sponge characters. This guy
It's
plays
probably a
for
mistake,
40
but
health
yeah,
points.
I don't know.
By getting that minus damage on face, we can very, very quickly stockpile a ton of momentum.
But he's like, I don't know,
I
man.
like playing the more aggressive City Rampage variant where we're playing like all of his good 5 diffs. Deception Dagger, Black Abyss,
Yeah.
Armor of the Wolf, Armor of the Ape, splash in a couple Walk the Dogs. This guy can just obliterate you on turn 2 or turn 3. Yeah, he can make.
But like the damage may not save you. The damage sponge is only as good because Godzilla's seeing everything for 10. Determined advance can't be reduced. So if you are Amajiki and someone goes City Rampage, Determined Advance, you can't do anything about it. They stack it with Award the Victor, they get it back in their hand, they replay it, that's another 10 and you die. So like this character is very I don't know, I yeah sure, like Ymir can also just be obliterated. But at least takes you they have 3 more health at least. But I don't know, like I'm not sold on Chaos Defense. I think Chaos Defense is kind of crappy right now. Uh, I actually think maybe his best symbol maybe water. Like I'm not buying into the chaos defense. I think chaos defense is sus. At best, like I think chaos defense is well. I got the 34, 35 health. I can block one thing and hope you don't have the rest of it, right? Like struggling with studies has gone out of style because chain blocking doesn't really exist right now because determined advance exists and everything's so fast. So you're basically blocking one move, and you need like your chaos defense is cape. Like that's your best chaos defense is cape, and like that just gets rid of the attack, which is the best. But like you do have some speed hate, but like again, you really can't chain block in this format, and it's really hard just because of how the speed and the damage of everything is just so massive. You block maybe one thing and you check a 3, you're probably failing it, or you're committing out and then you die anyways.
Huge armor of the wolf and kind of go over the top on these damage sponge characters, right? If we want to kill Bertol early, if we want to be able to kill a recovery girl, kill a Riner, then we need these massive damage moves, and Amajiki supplies that and then some. He is a little susceptible on like turn 2 to getting popped before he gets his momentum built up. There is a card out there, Waylay, that just kind of
Oh, it destroys him.
destroys Amajiki. Luckily, though, nobody's playing Waylay.
It's facts.
Order characters are kind of not even on my top 12 list. So
He doesn't have Irwin on his top 12. Irwin is like one of the best characters in the game right now.
don't worry about that too much. I still think that Amajiki is very good. And coming in at number 5, we have from My Hero Academia
Pony.
Power Pony.
Pony's
You
up
could
there,
also
man.
jump
I
into
think
Mikasa from
Pony's
Battle
good.
of Humanity. Both
Yep.
of these characters are air and fire characters that are looking to play a million.
But Pony's better Mikasa. Now that Mikasa is like gated to weapons.
On turn 2, turn 3, they're clearing their card pool, they're drawing their entire deck. They're very similar actually to Bertol 2, except they're faster than Bertol 2. This is happening on turn 2, turn 3, and not on turn 4, turn 5
Yeah.
after some transformation. Now these attacks aren't
I mean,
as hard, but
I've seen Bert's change on 2. You get double Colossus SWAT. You build 5 double Colossus SWAT. You flip after your second turn.
both of these characters are adding speed. So very similar. Why do I have Pony in my top 12 and not Mikasa? Well, Pony is a little more consistent to me and
Correct.
is a little bit more forgiving because we have that -2 speed on
Correct. She has
face.
defense
We
on
can
face.
survive
Yep.
these turns so that we
And she
can
could change
backstab
zones too.
on our turn. We can kind
Yep.
of buy that extra turn that maybe Mikasa doesn't get. But Mikasa got like Connie's Sword Strike and a lot of very strong weapons from Attack on Titan 2. If I was doing a top 25, she would be in my top
Yeah,
25.
she's in my top 25 too.
Since this is a top 12,
Yeah.
we've got Pony
Womp
here at
womp.
number 5. Pony benefited quite a bit from Lethal Slash, the 2-check.
Oh, he subscribes to the Tam Cardwell Lethal Slash Club. He must be the vice president. Tam. Tam. He's the president of Lethal Slash Pony, and David must be the vice president.
Draw a card and remove it after it resolves. You can use
The
that
card's
for
super
Sword
cool.
Slash, which is also building when you clear it. You're clearing things like crazy with Pony. You have all of these cards that draw when you discard.
But no joke though, the best symbol on Pony's air. Like it's just the air symbol. You get the best attacks off of air for her. You may miss out on one like the Earth, the Midoriya card that when you discard it you draw a card, but I think that Kraken makes up for it. Like Kraken's the best attack in the game, and you get to play Kraken off of air, and that's the way I would go to.
You can use things like seizing the advantage to build up your stage quickly and flip your rival stage.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of floated the idea, what was this, a couple weeks ago, of like Deadbolt Pony. Like, what if we played Deadbolt and then we cleared it with Pony? I don't know. It's probably too cute and not actually real. But Pony is very, very strong at the moment. I
Yeah,
think
she's very
that
good.
at some point in the future, Feral Shriek will probably get banned.
Band. Yeah, I agree with
Um,
that. Yeah, I do.
to pay the cost of the sins and atrocities that Pony commits at nationals.
The sins and atrocities. Wow, man, sell your feral shrieks now. Sell your feral shrieks now.
Must be prepared. How are you going to
Yeah.
survive against these aggressive air, fire, seven hand size characters?
We just kill them because they're going to be playing 4 damage moves. And if we're playing Godzilla or we play a character that actually can, like, take a few hits, they're going to die on the backswing when they fail.
Number 4, Godzilla,
Oh my
King of the
gosh.
Monsters.
Hell
He's
yeah.
number 4 on my power level scale. I actually think that Godzilla will be the
He's
most
the
represented character at Nationals.
damn straight.
He has a very good matchup into Bertolt, since we have since we're adding 3 damage to everything. We
Yep.
can kill Bertolt early. We
Correct.
can also wipe away his stage
Stage.
so that
Yep.
he takes longer to transform. That gives Godzilla 2 pretty solid turns of attacking into Bertolt. One early and one after you use your first form. All of
Correct.
those things are getting massive damage. Bertolt's primary defense is subtracting damage.
Yep.
So if Bertolt is the boogeyman of the format, which for most everybody he is,
Yep.
um,
Godzilla's the hero. Let's go!
Godzilla makes a very good counter to Bert. Also, Godzilla was already very popular.
Yeah.
Beginners love playing Godzilla. He's adding 3 damage to all
Yeah,
your
he
moves.
feels great to
Everything
play.
feels big. I mean, you feel, and that's one of the great things about this card game, is you feel like you're Godzilla
Correct.
when you're
Yeah.
playing Godzilla, and your rival feels like they're playing against Godzilla. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, all of these attacks
Yeah.
are huge.
Yep.
How do I destroy this massive monster? And then he wipes away my stage just when I get going.
Correct.
This guy really also benefited from getting Determined Advance in Attack on Titan. That's what kind of Determined Advance, I think, is what took this character from
A tier
where did
to
I
S
have him
tier.
in my last tier list, like at 15. I feel like Determined Advance is what took this character from top 15 to top 5.
Yeah.
This is a way I
Yeah,
can
he's
battle
easily
against
one of the
various
best
of
2 or 3 characters
right?
in the
Because,
meta right now.
oh,
But like the
Godzilla's
meta,
getting this damage.
but like the meta is so wide open. Like the upper crust, like okay, so let's say like his 1 to 5 is like the upper crust, but like any of the one below that up until like 2025 can still top and win with the right matchup, right? Like Recovery Girl like the matchup against Godzilla may not be the best sometimes, but like she can do it. Like eventually Godzilla will die if you hit him hard enough and fast enough. But like the meta is just so wide open right now. And I know a lot of people are saying the meta isn't as wide open as it used to be and da 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 da. But it's just like I think the meta is the Nats meta. If you look past like the Burt 2 scare tactics, like I don't think he's as good as everyone thinks he is. I think he's great. He's a very strong character. Don't get me wrong, but he does have his faults, right? Like you can catch him without correct blocks in hand, where he's just relying on -2 damage, which against Determined Advance, David said so. It's one of the best cards in the game, and it just is because it's always a 6/6 print hit. The only way you can deal with it is either block it or you delete it, and it's very hard to do both because normally you're going to be playing Kraken first to get. You're going to have an action from Ham. You're going to have to Genkai's Guidance and out of their card pool because Cape's not going to do it because they're going to lead with the Kraken. Commit your Cape. Commit and freeze your best defensive foundation, and then slam that Determined Advance on an 8 after playing a City Rampage and shit. So, and God forbid they play City Rampage, you have no answer, Determined Advance, award the victor, snag it, play it again, play another one, you just die. But yeah, like if you have to be ready for this character and other, which is great because you can't just tech for one character right now. You have to tech for an entire field, and it's super hard to be 50% against the field.
Is so blockable. But Determined Advance gets me momentum so that it's basically like a 4 diff because I can add +2 to my check
Correct.
for my next thing by using the momentum. Or, Rodans have to block it at a base 6 speed. It also has EX3,
Mm-hmm.
so I can use it as this finisher late in the game, and that momentum I snapped can immediately be used for an extra 3 speed. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
we have tons of other momentum, and we can just EX it to the moon and add a couple, maybe 9 damage is just
Yeah.
what you needed in that moment. Determined Advance is everything to this guy. Also, from the solo.
And that is why it's now a $60 card. It's crazy. Like it's Chaos's best. It's non weapon focused Chaos character's best attack. It just is. It does everything you want a Chaos attack to do, other than it being a six diff. But whatever, it needs to be a six diff.
In Challenger decks, we got Unfazed, this 6 diff that
Oh, yeah, I think he
you
said
can
solo
echo a
leveling, but
move,
it's
and
Star
if you block
Trek.
it, all of my checks are getting +1, and then we can echo it. So if you block it twice, all of Godzilla's checks are getting +2. Now,
It's kind of weird. The unfazed play is good, but I think it's not as good as people are thinking. Um, like I don't know. I have to test it. I haven't tested it yet, but I think I want to say Blue Flame Torment's probably better. Because it opens people up for Walk the Dog because they don't want to give you plus to your check and extra damage, so it becomes like a 10 damage move. Um, and then it also is a -2 block hack if you have the momentum, which you probably will. Um, I just think it's just a better attack, and I think unfazed as it being a little slow. But yeah, sure, the damage is up there, and it gives you +1 to your checks. But you also have to have. I'd rather have the momentum to get +2 to play my next move instead of echoing it. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's something I disagree with him. But I think everything about the Godzilla pick's good, other than the fact that I think he's top three, not top four.
it's just going to pass everything no matter what. Uh, Godzilla gets the massive benefit of being on the Chaos symbol. Chaos is just, yeah, it's probably just the strongest symbol in UniVersus at
It's
the
the best.
moment.
It's the best symbol of the game. Let's
Offense,
go.
defensive, and
Let's
offensive
go.
pieces. So yeah, Godzilla. I wouldn't surprise me if Godzilla is 15% of nationals.
Oh, I think
Uh,
easy.
I think he'll be at least 10%.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I
I
think
think
ten
he'll
percent's a
be in
good
most
good call, but I
representations
wouldn't be
for
surprised if he's
where he
15 or
is.
higher. Number
Getting into, oops, I went backwards.
number
And our
number
top
three.
3 is better Godzilla, but less popular Godzilla. We have
Oh,
Mimic.
Mimic. Oh yeah, Mimic is
Mimic
sick
also
right
is going to
now.
be playing Determined Advance on the Chaos symbol.
Yes.
But Mimic also gets massive damage. We get the benefit of like Knots Flask.
Mm-hmm.
When you commit Knots Flask, it's +5 damage with his response.
Yeah, that's
Mimic
nuts.
is 25 health instead of 34 health, but Mimic is an 8-hander almost every turn cycle.
Yeah.
Right? On offense and on defense, whenever you check an asset, you go get to pick up something of your choice. So Mimic gets to play
A
a
check
lower
value of
attack ratio than
3,
other
David. You
decks.
can only get an
We
attack.
saw a City Rampage Mimic actually win my webcam championship, the $3,000 webcam championship early
So that was a humble brag, everybody. But good on him and Tam for setting that up. It was a humble brag, David.
this month. And second place was, you guessed it, another Mimic. Mimic also can be defensive, using like vertical maneuvering to cash in on all that momentum to be able to block everything, and then we can damage reduce the things that we're not blocking. We can go and grab Cheerful Uppercut. Um, on offense, we saw Barlow putting in a lot of work with like ultra compressed weights to say, hey, you cannot kick my Determined Advance out of the card pool, and now I'm going to kill you with it. So you cannot use Cape, you cannot use Genkai's Guidance. On defense, it was very good against the like air 7-handers, Mikasa and Pony, to say like you can't clear that card anymore. You're going to have to play on.
That is hilarious because that's a card that saw, I guess, a lot of play back in the Oswey 1 days, and it didn't really phase her that much because it was just too slow. But like Mimic gets the opportunity to like play it earlier because he can just play soup and just build it when he sees it, right? But I think that he's right on that, but I also think that Mimic is also very susceptible to the turn two blow up. I think Godzilla can just like punk him really good. So I don't know. It's very very tough. Like I think all these top five, I think at least the top four, will be able to be like moved around just depending on matchups.
Early. Mimic gets Cape of No Return. You get just vertical maneuvering equipment. You can be very defensive with, but then also when you commit it for +2 damage, Mimic makes it +4 damage.
Yeah.
So when Mimic's ready to kill you, they can typically turn a lot of their assets sideways and add like 15, 20 damage to something. they have a very good deadlock piece and colossal detonation. So, like I said, he's just better Godzilla. Godzilla gets that first form, but you'd be surprised how passable detonation is for these mimics. So, if you build up this huge stage to defend against mimic, they'll use detonation. They'll say destroy all foundations. Oh wait, my assets are foundations, but they don't get destroyed. And then they just completely take over the game. When Mimic successfully plays a detonation, it's just over. That is game over. It's the ultimate deadlock piece for Mimic. So Mimic got
I
tons
mean,
of
unless you get
support here
Unbreakable
recently.
played against you, and
Soup
then you're
kind of
fucked.
unlocked this character. I play it, I immediately build it down, and now I can use it to pass checks for my turn 1 builds. I can commit it for plus 3 damage and to gain a health. Trigger is just an unfair asset that counts as
Well, it's this card, of
like
course.
3 foundations over the course of a
Yeah, it's
turn. It's a
crazy.
nice try to some extent. Anyway, Mimic is here at number 3. I think he's stronger than
I think I already
Godzilla.
know what his number one is because
I think
it's pretty
he's just
obvious.
an
If Rodon's
amazing
not number
way
two, he's
to
number
play
one.
against Bertolt too. You have enough damage output to kill him early. The assets don't get destroyed from Bertolt 2's transformation. So I think he plays really well into that matchup. Again, he gets determined advance for like the Rodan matchup and vertical maneuvering equipment. I think he's just better Godzilla, but he's less popular. So,
Hmm.
I think the sharps are going to be on Mimic. I think Mimic will still see like a 5%
Yeah,
implementation rate.
Mimic is going to be
And the people who
popular.
are playing Mimic are going to be very, very good players.
Yeah, I think
At
so.
number 2, we have the boogeyman of the format.
Oh,
It
Bird two.
is Bertold
Yeah.
Hoover. He's the Grinch. He's here to steal all of your toys, make sure you have a terrible time at Nationals, and just wipe the floor with you. Uh, yeah, he
That's
gets
funny.
to take -2 damage off
Yeah.
of everything, draw 2 cards, and discard 2 cards. So he's constantly like finding what he needs on his human side.
Yeah.
He's discarding things that say when they hit the discard pile, it's another -2 damage. So this guy plays as like this 50 health character. As soon as he gets to 9 foundations, he's going to transform. And when he transforms, you're dead. You, not
I don't. I don't subscribe to that thought. Right. Like, um, I've seen many games where Bird is flipped, and he just runs out of steam, and he gets crackbacked. Um, it's just I've seen it. Like I honestly think that you have to play a discard outlet in a foundation, or on an attack to like escape the gray hand, right? Like, because the minute you start seeing gray as Bert 2 on his backside, like you're probably not killing your rival, and then you're also probably losing because you only have like 3 to 5 foundations or more, unless you build out more, unless you play like 3 foundations after you've attacked a million times. So like you only have a couple cards to defend with, and then if like as you may only have half health. It's not going to last you very long. He has no defense on his backside, so he like I think his front side's his best side. I really do. And then it's just I think like when the time is right, the good players who play Berthold will know when to flip. Um, like they'll know when to push that button because you just sometimes just can't or you shouldn't, and then you just fall into a trap.
percent of the time on transformation, you're just dead. It doesn't matter how much interaction you have, you're dead. He's going to just play out every attack that he draws. Everything draws him more. If he plays an attack that draws, then he draws 2 cards that on that one. He gets to remove like a tray size on the echoed copy. So play the tray size, echo the tray size, then remove it.
Yeah,
Now
Trace
that
Size is his best
also
attack.
drew him 2 cards. He can like speed transform very, very quickly. You get things like Weapon Clash. If you can unflip Weapon Clash, then you can build again
Colossus SWAT.
off of Weapon Clash. You can use like Wild Wild to find another foundation. You can use like Always Cool to build 2 foundations.
Yep.
You can use like Enormous Axe to destroy it.
Build
One of
two.
my favorite
Yeah.
plays is like Attack Titan Emerges, destroy Enormous Axe, build something
Mm-hmm.
with the Enormous Axe. And then build in a Weapon Clash, and then use the
build
Weapon
it.
Clash
Yep.
to build another thing. You can speed transform with Colossus SWAT. The downside to doing that, though, is now you're transforming on your turn, which does give your rival a chance to like kill you without getting the
Correct.
top enhance of the human side. Typically, Bert does want to transform on his opponent's turn.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be very careful about building to 9 against this guy. And if you know he's going to transform on your turn, then you might as well build some foundations in your card pool, because then You get to keep 3 and then
Correct.
build
Then you
those
build those
down.
down. That's the best way to beat
Um,
him.
he does leave himself open if he's speed transforming on his turn with the SWAT strategy, and I've seen that be a very popular strategy.
Correct.
Anyway, yeah, this guy is the Grinch. Personally, I don't think he's actually going to see that much representation at Nats.
Because everyone's teching
Um,
for him, probably.
that might be a pretty hot take, but like I
I
don't
think
think
it's
he's
kind of a
very
mid
fun to
take,
play.
but yeah.
I think he's very format warping, and I think he's very not fun to play. He's not fun to play as. He's not fun to play against. I really wish they would have rotted this guy to oblivion. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. Okay, this is
Who's the Grinch now, David? Who's the Grinch now?
a little too much. Um,
All right, come on.
I actually don't think he's going to see that much representation.
We're gonna speed to this, right?
Because I think people
We're gonna go. Okay, so he has Rodon. All right, so he has Rodon on top one, because
Mill
yeah.
Rodan in
So
Atlanta. I made a
so like Rodon is, I don't know if he's the best character in the format, but he's definitely top three. Um, I do agree with him on that. I think he's top three. I don't know if he's the best. I think it just depends on matchups. Yeah, he's very good off of all three symbols. I also think the all symbol for him is the best symbol for him because the deck is super fun to play. It's super fun to play against. It's not as boring as the Void version. It's not as Justin Birch to go to EU and bounce out at top eight, scream in your face air because he checked bad. But no, like I think he's very good. I just don't like the video is almost to an hour, and I have to stop it because this is taking too long, and no one's gonna watch it this long. So yeah, but yeah, so that's it. That's all the video I'm going to record is that. But yeah, thanks David for doing this, and thank you for this is some easy clickbait, I guess, right? It's super easy clickbait. Oh look, cool, my green screen thing is messing up with my water bottle. That's kind of cool. But yeah, like it's just some super easy content to do. But yeah, I think it's cool. I think he's right on a lot of the things. Like I have no qualms other than I mean I don't think Amajiki belongs there in top 12. I think he's probably top 20. Um, I don't know. I just don't think Amajiki's that great right now. He's not in a good spot. So, but yeah, that's all I got for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you stuck it out, thank you. Let me know what your top 12 characters are. Let's good. It's stick on David's theme, top 12. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more Nats prospects coverage. It's coming down the pipeline. Lots of videos. I got like 20 more videos I got to do. Not really. It's like 12. But anywho, have a good night, everyone. Take it easy.